Your $1,000 Glock can turn into nothing more than an expensive paperweight, all because of rookie mistakes that too many shooters make. I've seen countless good pistols ruined because folks didn't know any better. Some errors just wear your gun down. Others can flat out destroy it. And a few can put you in danger of catastrophic failure. Today, we're running through 13 of the most common ways shooters end up wrecking their semi-autos. Quick reminder. What you'll hear comes straight from years of range time and hands-on experience. Your gun may behave differently. Nothing replaces reading your manual and following proven safety practices. Number 13. Ignoring malfunctions and pushing through. This one comes down to the it'll-fix-itself mindset. That attitude can turn a minor issue into a full-blown disaster. When your pistol starts choking and you just rack the slide and keep firing, you're stacking problems. Think of it like ignoring your car's check engine light while driving across the country. A stovepipe jam is a classic red flag. Instead of asking why extraction is failing, many shooters just clear it and keep going. Meanwhile, the extractor is clawing at brass inside a dirty chamber. Or maybe your recoil spring is worn out and doesn't have enough tension left. Every time you power through a malfunction, key parts take a beating. The extractor gets stretched beyond design limits. The ejector deals with poor timing. The feed ramp starts taking hits from cartridges that never fed cleanly. Worst case scenario? A squib load. That's when a round gives you a weak pop instead of a bang, and the bullet lodges in the barrel. If you keep pulling the trigger, you can turn that pistol into a pipe bomb. Every failure is your gun warning you. Stop immediately. Figure out what caused it. Fix the issue before you fire another round. Number 12. Homebrew modifications and DIY tinkering. Nothing ruins a solid pistol faster than backyard gunsmithing with a Dremel tool. I've lost count of how many reliable handguns were wrecked by hobbyists convinced they knew better than the engineers who built them. Trigger jobs are the classic mistake. Somebody thinks their pull is too heavy, so they start grinding on the sear. Those engagement angles are cut with precision for a reason. Once you alter them, that pistol is one accidental discharge away from a lawsuit. I knew a guy who polished every surface inside his striker-fired pistol. He removed so much metal that parts no longer fit together. The gun went from butter smooth to totally unreliable overnight. Then you've got the folks mounting red dots with screws that are too long. Those screws punch right into the firing pin channel. The pistol looks fine on the bench until recoil locks it up solid. The bottom line? Leave advanced modifications to real gunsmiths. They know the tolerances and the mechanics behind the magic. Number 11. Skipping inspections and running worn-out parts. Trying to save a few bucks here can cost you an entire pistol. Shooters spend hundreds on ammo and gear, but then ignore $15 recoil springs that keep their gun alive. Those springs compress and decompress under serious stress. Over time, they lose tension. That's when you start seeing failures to extract, short-stroking slides, and erratic ejection. If you don't replace that spring, the slide may not travel far enough to cycle. That forces the extractor and ejector to work outside their design limits. I've seen extractors worn down so badly they couldn't even grab the casing anymore. Instead of swapping it early, the owner just kept shooting until it failed in the middle of a match. Magazine springs are another overlooked weak point. Leave mags fully loaded for months, and those springs lose their snap. Now your pistol struggles to feed, and you're left clearing stoppages instead of shooting. Smart shooters carry spare springs. Stay ahead of wear before it turns into failure. Number 10. Dry firing. Without snap caps. Dry fire is one of the best ways to build fundamentals, but only if you do it right. Dropping the firing pin on an empty chamber over and over can damage internals in ways most folks don't realize. Rimfire pistols chambered in .22 long rifle are the worst for this. Those designs rely on the firing pin striking the brass rim of the cartridge. When you dry fire, the pin slams into the steel wall of the chamber instead. That leaves dents in the chamber face and chews up the firing pin. Even centerfire pistols aren't immune. That striker or firing pin still slams forward with force. Over time, you can get mushroom tips, cracks, or outright breakage. I've seen shooters who dry fired hundreds of times every week without snap caps. When they finally hit the range, their gun wouldn't ignite primers anymore. The fix is simple. A $10 set of snap caps protects your firing pin and your chamber. If you're going to train dry, train smart. Number 9. Limp wristing. This one happens more than people like to admit, especially with lightweight polymer-framed pistols. Here's the deal. A semi-auto only runs right when the frame stays stable as the slide cycles. If your grip is loose, that recoil energy isn't driving the slide, it's rocking the whole gun. Polymer frames don't weigh much, so they don't offer much resistance. When you don't lock that wrist down, the slide can short stroke, stovepipe, or fail to eject. I've watched brand new shooters blame the pistol, when the truth was their grip was the problem. This isn't just about raw hand strength. It's technique. Thumbs high, wrists locked, elbows angled forward to absorb recoil. If you struggle, grip trainers and dry fire drills can help you build consistency. Remember, your pistol depends on a rock-solid platform to function the way it was designed. Number 8. Riding the slide. Instead of letting it slam forward, I see this mistake constantly, especially at public ranges. Someone racks the slide, then tries to ease it forward like they're being gentle with the gun. Bad move. That slide is engineered to strip around, chamber it, and lock the action with full spring force. When you ride it forward, you rob it of momentum. Now the pistol can end up out of battery. Best case, you get a light primer strike or no ignition at all. Worst case, you touch off a round before the barrel fully locks, and now you're dealing with an out-of-battery detonation. That's how guns get damaged and shooters get hurt. Even if it doesn't blow up, you've built unreliable muscle memory. In a defensive situation, you'll revert to whatever you trained. And if that means babying the slide, you've set yourself up for failure. So don't guide it. Run the slide all the way back, let it snap forward, and trust the spring to do its job. That's how the pistol was designed to cycle. Number 7. Running bad magazines or beating on worn-out ones. Let me be straight with you. Most handgun malfunctions I see come from junk magazines, and they're the last part most people think to replace. Feed lips are cut with precision so each round feeds correctly. Once those lips crack or bend, you'll start seeing nosedives and double feeds. If the mag body's dented, the follower may bind. Then there's weak magazine springs. Maybe they've been left loaded too long, or they've just worn out. Now the first couple rounds feed fine, but by round 4 or 5, the slide outruns the magazine, and suddenly you're clearing stoppages. Worse yet, cheap knockoff mags. They look the same on the outside, but the internals are junk. Poorly molded followers, uneven spring pressure, and feed lips that were never cut right. Reliability goes out the window. And let's not forget dirty mags. Shooters will clean their pistol religiously, then jam a magazine full of grit, carbon, and old oil right back in. Keep your mags clean. Inspect them often. Swap springs and followers before they fail. And don't cheap out. Quality magazines are the backbone of a reliable handgun. Number 6. Forcing the breakdown or botching reassembly. This is where I've seen a lot of perfectly good pistols ruined. If you're muscling parts together, bending springs, or grabbing pliers to make it fit, you're not field stripping, you're wrecking a firearm. Recoil spring assemblies are a common trap. I've watched shooters jam them in backwards, then fight the slide until parts are under stress they were never meant to take. Those same springs are engineered to run thousands of rounds, but after that kind of abuse, their lifespan gets cut in half. Another red flag? People trying to follow some blurry cell phone video instead of reading their manual. They get halfway through, realize a trigger bar or sear spring is upside down, and instead of correcting it, they just shove it in and hope for the best. And don't overlook the missing spring crowd. I've heard guys say, it's only one spring, should still run fine. But that one spring might be controlling your extractor tension, striker safety, or slide stop. Remove it, and now you've got a pistol that could fail catastrophically. The worst case I saw, somebody mangled a slide stop spring into a corkscrew using a flathead screwdriver. The gun was done. The rule is simple. If parts don't fall into place naturally, stop. Check your manual, slow down, and never force components together. Precision firearms don't work like lawnmowers. Number 5. Overcleaning or using the wrong tools. This one surprises people. Yes, you can overclean a pistol, and you can absolutely destroy it by using the wrong gear. I've seen shooters attack aluminum frames with steel brushes, grinding away at precision-fit rails until they've introduced permanent play into the system. That tight slide-to-frame fit you paid for? Gone forever. Then there are the chemical abusers. They think the stronger the solvent, the better. So they grab carb cleaner, brake cleaner, or worse, aircraft paint remover. All those will eat through polymer housings, strip protective finishes, and even warp frame rails. One guy decided to deep clean his striker-fired pistol with industrial degreaser. It stripped every protective surface inside the gun. By the next range trip, the trigger housing had softened and the frame rails had warped. That pistol turned into a non-functional paperweight overnight. Stick to products designed for firearms. Use bronze or nylon brushes. Clean for function, not for looks. You're not restoring a museum piece, you're maintaining a fighting tool. Number 4. Letting a pistol sit dirty. Some shooters treat cleaning like it's optional, something you'll get around to later. That's how handguns turn into rusted-out relics, carbon fouling and unburnt powder trap moisture. That cocktail eats steel. I've looked down barrels so corroded the rifling was gone, just a smooth, rust-colored tube where precision grooves used to be. The action suffers even faster. Carbon builds inside the firing pin channel until the striker can't move freely. Extractors lose tension because they're caked in crud. Feed ramps choke on fouling until rounds nosedive. And yet, I still hear the line, "It's a Glock, it'll run dirty." Sure, for a while. But every extra round fired without maintenance shortens the life of your extractor, striker, and springs. At minimum, clean after every range trip. If it's a carry gun, service it once a month even if it hasn't been fired. A dirty pistol might still function, but a clean pistol is safer, more reliable, and will outlast you. Number 3. Getting lube wrong. Too little or way too much. This mistake comes in two extremes. On one end, you've got the run-it-dry crowd. These folks treat their pistols like they're farm tools from the 1940s. No oil, no grease, just bare metal grinding on bare metal. Every cycle increases wear. I've seen extractors worn down until they couldn't even hold a casing, all because the gun was run bone dry. On the other end, you've got the drown-it-in-oil crew. They soak their slide rails, flood the frame, and think they're doing the gun a favor. What really happens? That excess oil traps powder, carbon, and dust, turning into sludge that gums up the trigger and slows down the slide. Now your pistol feels like it's cycling through wet cement. Proper lubrication is simple. 1 drop on the rails, 1 on the barrel hood, and a light coat on the locking lugs. That's it. Not too much, not too little. Just enough to keep the action slick without attracting debris. Number 2. Failing to check for barrel or chamber obstructions. This is the kind of mistake that can turn a normal range day into a trip to the emergency room. Because when you fire a round through a blocked barrel, that pistol stops being a firearm and starts acting like a hand grenade. Picture this. You're out in the woods, the gun slips, and now the muzzle is packed with mud or debris. You shrug it off. Hey, it's just a little dirt. But that little bit of blockage becomes a pressure plug. When you press the trigger, the barrel can't vent pressure forward, so it forces it sideways. And steel doesn't bend. It breaks. Even too much oil inside the bore can cause problems. If you've saturated the barrel with lubricant, you've basically created a hydraulic roadblock. That first shot is fighting resistance, and chamber pressure spikes higher than it should. But the most dangerous obstruction of all is the squib round. That's when a bullet lodges inside the bore because of an undercharged cartridge. You'll hear a dull pop instead of a sharp bang. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to dismiss. And if you fire again with that bore blocked, you've just stacked one bullet on another. That pressure has nowhere to go, and the gun is going to fail catastrophically. This is all avoidable. If your pistol has been dropped in mud, snow, or heavy fouling, check the bore. If a shot sounds weak or feels wrong, stop and inspect it. It takes seconds, and it can save your firearm or your hands. Number 1. Using the wrong ammo or questionable reloads. This is the fastest way to destroy a pistol, feeding it the wrong ammunition. I've seen people jam 380 ACP into a 9mm chamber. It fits close enough that it'll chamber, but the pressures are wrong, the head spacing is wrong, and reliability goes out the window. At best, the gun malfunctions. At worst, you damage parts or yourself. Reloads are just as risky when you don't control the process. A buddy might swear he's a careful reloader, but if he's cutting corners reusing brass too many times, eyeballing powder charges, or seeding primers out of spec, you're gambling with your gun. An undercharge leads to squibs. An overcharge leads to overpressure. Both can destroy a firearm. Even cheap factory loads bring headaches. Weak charges may not cycle a tight semi-auto. Now you're dealing with constant stoppages and stuck brass. Run enough steel-cased bargain ammo, and the extractor and chamber start paying the price. Here's the rule. Use the caliber stamped on your barrel. Stick to quality ammo from reputable manufacturers. Saving a couple bucks isn't worth risking your firearm or your fingers. And there it is, 13 mistakes that wreck semi-auto handguns. Your pistol isn't just a block of steel and polymer. It's a finely tuned machine built on precision tolerances. If you respect that engineering, it'll serve you for life. If you cut corners, you're the weak link, not the gun. So clean it right. Lube it smart. Run good mags. Feed it the right ammo. And above all, treat it like the life-saving tool it's designed to be. Got your own cautionary story? Drop it in the comments. We've all been there, and other shooters can learn from your experience. If this breakdown helped you steer clear of a costly mistake, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it forward. Plenty more firearm knowledge headed your way. Stay safe, shoot smart, and I'll catch you in the next one.